Thanks for coming over. This is Amodeus, and today I want to talk about Breaking Steel Widow. So this is the combination of three specific things. So ignore defense damage, lower defense, and then the legendary Shreds defense debuff from Abigail. So I'm very fortunate to have Abigail, and over Laundry Day, as I was testing new team compositions and trying to speed things up, I put this team together, and the architecture is very familiar from a team composition standpoint. It's double DPS, healer, cooldown reduction, and a stripper. So that's kind of where a lot of the similarities end, because Alya the Fire Bladmaster is here for wave clearing and is totally replaceable with your DPS of choice. But since one of her skills ignores defense, I thought she was a better fit than Sigrun for this particular team, specifically because it gives her more ability to contribute on the boss portion. So Mon is the Water Timekeeper. Skill cooldown reduction is always good to have in the raids, and the Timekeepers have this on their first skill and as a synergy trait. And that's usually why they are a must-have. But wait, when it comes to the Water Timekeepers, there's more, because they also have the block buff debuff. So in Steel Widow, this actually stops the immunity buff from ever getting put on the Steel Widow. And that's critical for a smooth run. Personally, I think it's one of the most underrated debuffs for all of the Steel Widow content I personally put out and that I have seen online. So if you have one thing you want to take away from this video, that block buff debuff is absolutely huge. So here's the healer. So of course I'm using Xenia for the heal because she's the heal, she's a cooldown reducer, she strips, and she lowers defense, which is critical to the three things we said we're going to make this team so good. Now I do see a lot of value to switching over to Cassandra for her additional attack buff, but Xenia is just built better for now. Maybe not from a gear standpoint, but definitely from a skill up and a max level standpoint. Now, we get into where this team starts to change right now, because rather than huge nukers like Candy Munchkins or ongoing damage like Snake Ladies and Siege Towers, we're going with Washi, because he has a significant amount of ignored defense damage on his skills. He's also great because he adds mark and he lowers defense too, which are both buffs that increase our overall damage just in general. Finally, Abigail the Fire Siege Tower and her legendary Shreds defense debuff round out this team. So, as pointed out by the developers in Update 3 livestream, and the link's going to be in the description, lower defense reduces defense by 70% and can be combined with legendary Shreds defense for an additional 25%. This means you're only ever really going to end up dealing with about 5% of the defense of the raid bosses. And if you look at the units we chose, you're ignoring a quarter of that off the bat just because of the skill sets that they bring to the table. Now, I want to do is watch a few runs, and you'll get to see exactly what I'm talking about around all of these different elements. Okay, so our goal here is for the team to get mark, buff block, lower defense, and shred defense on ASAP. And as you can see on the screen, absolutely that happened. And you're going to see there's not going to be any immunity buff dropped down here because we had that buff block. And now the Steel Widow is just dead. So I'm going to run a couple more back-to-back just so that everybody knows how consistent this team is. And could we make this team faster? Yes. What? Game off. Come on, game off. What is this, mystery gear? Come on. Let's get through this. Okay. So it is possible to make the teams faster, because with the reason you have a stripper in Steel Widow is to get rid of the immunity buff. So if you have buff block on there, you don't need to strip immunity off. The problem is that there's always going to be resistance chances, and your accuracy, even at 100%, isn't 100% applying every single debuff. So it's much riskier to run without a stripper. And for me, I'm just not at a spot right now where I feel confident enough in my units to be able to survive Steel Widow immunity. Definitely later on I'm going to build teams just for more speed, and we'll probably kind of look through how we can get rid of units on this team that aren't dealing ignore defense damage. But for right now, just from a consistency standpoint, I'm not feeling that we built our team to be there. We built this team to be very consistent, not to be in the 30-40 second range. So once again, the plan pretty effortlessly. Once again, it's all about ignore defense, lower defense, and the legendary Shreds defense. And I think in this match, we're going to see the exact same thing because, like I said, the team's pretty consistent. if you want to do some replacements, let's talk about some substitutions. So Xenia can be replaced with Cassandra. I believe Washi can be replaced with other ignore defense. I'm not sold on the Dino Boys, but if you have one built, awesome. The Astromancers also have ignore defense. Those are free to play, and if you have them built up, that would be a great time to jump those in there. And the same thing goes, we talked about it earlier, I believe Blademaster can be replaced with Sigron. I've done that quite a few times. It's just not as fast. So I would definitely jump in there and replace with that. If you have Sharma, man, just Sharma's way better than Monas, in my personal opinion, for this particular raid. And then Abigail, to the best of my knowledge, is the only one that does the legendary Shreds defense. So if you have her sitting in storage and you haven't built her, you are obviously missing out, because it's just amazing what she can do when you build a team to really maximize some of the synergies. I'm going to sell that. That's not... I need the gold more, because I have so much gear right now. I'm almost full on gear because I was saving up for laundry day, because that's just the way it goes. So even with the 20 million or whatever gold from the weekend, it just wasn't enough to raise up all the gear that we had set up. So let's do a couple more runs and just run through. Once again, we're just proving consistency here. I know it's very easy to edit a video together to look awesome with team comps, but between this and the green machine, I'm super ecstatic with the consistency and speed of my teams right now. If you haven't seen the green machine video, I loaded it up on Friday of last week, and it is just, like I said, I cannot tell you just how absolutely infatuated I am with how easy that team works for getting through that's not a Steel Widow team, that is an Elder Drake team. So it's a pre-flight Elder Drake team. So that team works really well. Look at this. This is exactly what we talked about. Lower defense, legendary shred, mark, block buff, dead. It's just over and over a really consistent team. And like I said, totally. Oh, hey. That could be a double. What could that be? That could be like a 20 crit rate possibly. Oh, these pop-ups, man, they're killing us. All right, now let's get into some gear. So Alya is going to be built on attack, crit damage, attack. As you're going to see, she's on mortal, keen, and she does have 100% crit rate, 200% crit damage. And I know that there are some folks out there with super fast Alyas that blow mine out of the water. But I didn't build mine for attack speed. I built her for attack. So I think there's a balance there, and I just don't have attack speed runes good enough for her to get her to where I want to be. And then here's Abigail. She's amazing. And once again, this is just survivability. It's accuracy and HP. Pretty much how you build any of the siege engines, the siege towers. So with her, like the big one was just like throw a little bit of defense wherever we could with whatever runes we had, but really just looking at HP as the main stat, and I didn't care what else was going in there. Because once again, she just survived. She's just there to survive. Washi is a really difficult champion to gear because it's attack, crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy that are all important to him. So it's just ridiculous. Oh, I didn't show you the overall stats for Abigail. Hold on. Yeah, at this point I'm not going to edit it out. So just, here you go, guys. This is her stats. 77,000 HP, like 1,000 defense, and then 60 accuracy. It's just enough. It's just enough for what we're doing. Now, Washi, like I said, great. He's fully maxed up. I did a whole video on him. He's amazing. He's insane. Ignore defense. But stat-wise, like I said, super difficult to actually get great stats for, because I would love to get him at 100% crit rate. I mean, he's at 94 right now, but 100% would be fantastic. And I'd love to get some more attack on him, but like I said, crit rate, crit damage, accuracy, attack, it's all important to him. So I'm still happy to have him. But yeah, it's a bit of a hustle on that one. Monas, I actually switched Monas over to complete attack. So Monas is super attack. I have two, and what you're going to see is it's going to be adept. I switched out his focus rune to make him attack, and it dropped his focus down to the 50s, give or take. So he's really, like, if you look, he is attack, attack, and I still have to level up that last attack, so we're going to get even more attack out of him. And like you saw, the team goes so fast, it's not really a bother, right? And Xenia, I also de-gear because I'm building Cassandra up, but she's fine. I mean, 60k is more than enough for Steel Widow 10. It's way more overkill than she needs. And Adept, and then I put Vital on her because I just had a couple of good Vital runes that I hadn't leveled up or hadn't grinded up yet. So that's what you see there. Overall, I think that the team won't excel that much more with more gear. I think replacing Xenia with Cassandra is a great way to improve the overall team. I think if I'm just trying to set some records or brag a bit, then doing replacing Cassandra and Xenia entirely with something like Candy Munchkin Girl would be fine. But that's it for today. Thanks for joining in and staying so long. I know it was a ridiculously long video this week and a lot of talking, but I appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.